It's your birthday, you got 3 wishes. Number 1 wish is going to be, can we have EQ in the app for JBL? Been wishing and wishing for years. Collectively, all of us, we've got together, we've all had the same wish. 2022, it's coming true. One by one, we're getting EQ. So, you've gone into your app. For the JBL Charge 5, you can't believe your eyes. You're on 7.4.0 firmware. You've had a look, it says new firmware. You're getting excited already. 0.8.2.0. Well, bugs fixed. Performance improvement. But you always say that, JBL, and sometimes you wreck my speaker. So I'm not going to... Hang on, I'm going to update because it says number 2, EQ adjustment, is available for the Charge 5 after, not before, the Charge 5 firmware upgrade. It's exciting news. And you're thinking to yourself, oh, hang on a sec. What if I lose all my bass? What if I lose all my mids and my highs? What if it sounds like the Sonus Roam? For some of you, that's not bad. For people like me, that's terrible. I'm going to go ahead and update it. I know it's a bit late. A lot of you have already updated. I'm not getting any. I'm getting 0 horror stories. That's a good sign from JBL. We're finally getting to the point where I've bricked my JBL speaker by doing a firmware update, seem to be subsiding. On the other hand, you could say we're getting less updates altogether. So maybe they're sobering up a bit before they do the firmware updates. They're getting their act together. What you want to know is, okay, has the sound changed in any way? Are they going to build in headroom? Are they going to reduce the overall volume to build in artificial headroom? Or are we just simply going to get another 10 decibels of bass over and above what we had before, and it's happy, happy days? We don't even need to buy a JBL Extreme 3. Only one way to find out is going to update my JBL 5, going to make some recordings before the update and after the update, because otherwise it would be silly, wouldn't it? And then I'm going to compare, has anything changed before and after? In terms of, we're not talking about the EQ, we're talking about, has the sound itself changed from before the update and after the update? Have a listen.
Light for you, I tried for you, you wouldn't play alone. I got you in my sight, I keep all the words you said to me. I get you on your knees, rewrite all the things you said that I should be. I'll get you, now you beg me please. Hey, now I stay away, you were never meant to save me. Now I stay away, I wanna hear you say you're sorry.
Here it come, what's in my cup? Only top shelf. Drink that, what's in my leaf? Gon' stake this whole place out. Big facts, I do what I want, I do what it does. I'm moving around, I'm getting the love. It's me that you want, my schedule is plugged, but I'm here now. All I really wanna know, when we leaving. All I really need to know is when we leaving. All I really wanna know, when we leaving. All I really need to know is when we leaving.
So the green line is before the update, white line after the update. And to all intents and purposes, they're exactly the same. There is no difference. Maybe within a margin of error, there's something slightly different. If you zoom in, something there, 63 hertz, maybe just above 2 kilohertz, talking a third of a decibel. Even if it's real, it's not going to be noticeable to your ears, but it's possible. There is some tiny bit of difference before the update and after the update. Maximum volume, again, it's exactly the same, just above 2 kilohertz. And then in the bass, possibly before the update, there was a little bit more bass and a little bit less above 2 kilohertz. If we zoom right in, again, we're talking 1/3 of a decibel. So it may be real, but it's small. But you could argue they're building in some headroom in the bass now that we've got EQ, but would that tally with a little bit more, around 2.5 kilohertz? To all intents and purposes, no difference.
To the sound, it appears that nothing has changed. There may be tiny fractions that they've played around with, but nothing you're ever going to hear. And it's well within margin of error when I'm making these recordings. But I've got to move the speaker a tiny bit, and that will change some notch in the frequency response. Now, sound doesn't change. Thank the Lord for that. But what happens when you go into the JBL app and you look at the JBL Charge 5 and you've now got a 3-band graphic, or is it a graphic equalizer? Is it a pure graphic equalizer? We've got 3 bands. Oh, hang on a second. Frequency response goes from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz in terms of, if you had really good ears, what you would be able to hear. I wonder how much we can tailor the sound. Bearing in mind JBL Charge 5 had a reasonable, and still has a reasonable, flattish frequency response. There's a balance there that not all speakers from these type of companies have. Normally a V-shaped, which for me works better at the lower volumes than the higher volumes. But it's quite balanced. But it does change every step as you go up in the volume, reducing relatively that bass. So the sound you hear does change all the time. How does that play with a 3-band graphic equalizer? Well, you're going to have to find out in another video. This video was simply telling you, they haven't changed the sound anyway. Bear in mind, this is my particular version of the JBL Charge 5. They do multiple versions. You'll have to check your serial number to find out which one you have. And what I find on mine may not apply to you. But as I said, not getting any horror stories at this point. We are a few weeks into this update. So that's a good sign. I'll see you in another video if you're at all, and you probably are, interested in how does the graphic equalizer work? What is the headroom? What are the best settings? See you there.
I ain't about that life. I ain't about that life. Ain't no project wife, got my logic right, cause I'm not your type. I ain't about that life. I ain't about that life. Sorry, ma, I ain't get it right. I'ma just live my life. I ain't about that. I ain't about that life.